2010 and has a truly remarkable story, and I encourage you to look him up after this. He was a DeMatha Catholic and Naval Academy grad. He was a great lacrosse player and a true example of what it means to be a great leader. I just wanted to take a moment to remember him and the sacrifices he made for all of us here tonight. With that being said, my name is Christian Golzinski. I'm the son of Heather and Staff Sergeant Mark Golzinski. I'm a current scholarship recipient, and I'm here to tell you a little about my story and the impact the Marine Corps has had on me. My entire life has always been defined by certain characteristics. I was taught to be respectful, to be kind and compassionate, and to be strong and resilient. My parents taught me to work hard, to be honest and loyal, and to love deeply. We're also very competitive and love a good challenge. Both of my parents were always helping others, even if that meant sacrificing themselves along the way. They were wonderful friends and hard workers. They were incredible examples of what it means to be good people. It's not at all surprising that I strive to follow in their footsteps. Being a Marine Corps family, I was also taught the importance of characteristics such as honor, courage, commitment, integrity, duty, and service, to name a few. My parents weaved these ideals into my life based on lessons and experiences that were happening at the time. They're a part of our everyday life and became a part of who I am today. I had no idea the impact that these ideals would have on me. The night my mom just described was a defining moment in my life. At the age of 8 years old, I was forced to deal with my first major loss. Honestly, I couldn't even fathom the truth. My dad was a Marine fighting bad guys to keep us all safe. He was untouchable and invincible even. He was my hero, but most of all, he was my dad. I had spoken to him 2 days ago, and he said he was coming home from far away in less than 2 weeks. How could he be gone? No goodbyes, no I love yous, just gone. And although I didn't understand, as no child possibly could, I was aware in that moment that life was now different, and that I was now different. From my perspective, we went from a happy family of 3 to a broken family of 2 in an instant. The next few days were hard. Although my mom talks about being broken, I never saw that side of her. She cried more than usual and apologized when she cried, but otherwise she was just mom doing mom things and getting stuff done. When it came time for the funeral, I really didn't know what to expect. My mom and I had talked about it numerous times, and I got to be in on the discussion with the adults and a couple Marines one time too. I knew one of the Marines was going to tell me right before the 21 gun salute, so it wouldn't catch me off guard. But other than that, I didn't really know what was going to happen. When it came time, the Marines carefully removed the flag from the casket in front of me and folded it into a triangle. My mom had told me what all the steps represented, but at the time I couldn't remember. The Marine holding the flag was Lieutenant Colonel Rick Thompson. He had served with my dad, and I had met him at Family Day, but I didn't recognize him as he approached me and my mom and kneeled in front of us. My mom took a big breath, trying to hold it all in, but I knew her eyes were full of tears under her sunglasses, so I stood up. She had protected me so many times, and I wanted to do the same for her. As I stood tall, the emotions weighed more than I expected, and like my mother, I took a deep breath, begged my body to hold it all in, and accepted the flag. Flash, that moment captured in a simple photograph that would later go viral. I stayed strong while I was handed the flag, the last piece of my dad. I even remembered to say yes sir when Lieutenant Colonel Thompson spoke to me. I sat down in my chair, gripping the flag, and leaned into my mom beside me. I was the kid whose dad was killed in Iraq, and I was also now the kid in the picture. I didn't want to be either. But as it turns out, despite such a huge loss, life continued to move forward. It was a struggle sometimes, but for the most part, my life fell into the rhythm of the new normal. I was like any other kid really, and thanks to my mom. She did her best to make sure that I never felt less than anyone else. She stepped in and did everything she could to make up for my dad not being there. She also reminded me constantly that she never wanted to replace him. When I started playing lacrosse, she learned all the rules and never missed a game. When I started playing goalie, she learned drills and helped me sharpen my skills, even though she couldn't use a lacrosse stick to save her life. Thank goodness she played softball in high school, because that wicked arm of hers and softball glove is great practice. When I played football, she was again always on the sidelines and my biggest fan. When it came to sports, she always knew all the moms and chatted with them regularly. But on game days, she could be found standing on the sideline with the dads, cheering and yelling and watching every play of the game. She was no different than any of them, and I think she endured it more than I did sometimes. It always stung to know my dad wasn't there, but I could always count on the fact that my mom was. My mom would always remind me, Dad is definitely watching you, he just has a better view. When I didn't do well, we would talk about how I could improve and the plan to work hard to get better. When I was selfish, she would remind me about the importance of being part of a team. When I was arrogant, she taught me how to be humble. When I was wronged, she taught me patience and how to forgive, but never to forget. When I was challenged, both physically and mentally, she taught me to be strong and confident and face obstacles head on. My parents taught me how to lead, how to learn, and how to grow. They taught me compassion and generosity, but they also taught me to stand up for myself and what is right. They taught me to value time and to make the most of every second. They also taught me to love my country, to respect and thank those who put on a uniform to serve this great nation, and to always remember those heroes who have gone before us. These lessons are life lessons, characteristics that are still helping me grow into the person I am meant to be. These things are instilled in who I am, and it's safe to say I learned them from both my mom and my dad. Life wasn't just fun in sports, and for as long as I can remember, my parents instilled a heavy importance on the power of a good education. In school, they pushed me to learn as much as possible about as many things as possible. My mom and dad both pushed me to chase my dreams, and have always supported whatever that dream was at the time. I know for a fact that my mom knows more than most about things like construction vehicles, stars in space, Greek mythology, skateboarders, SEC football players, muscle cars, photography, and even technology and gadgets simply because she supported the things I have loved along the way. When high school rolled around, I decided to attend DeMatha Catholic High School, an all-boys prep school who pride themselves on shaping young men into gentlemen and scholars. I have always had to work very hard to earn just average grades, and this was my biggest challenge yet. DeMatha did help me become a better student and prepare me for college, but it did much more too. It reminded me about the importance of brotherhood. Now, brotherhood has been something that's always played a major role in my life. My dad, being a Marine, always talked about his Marine brothers. I always valued those types of friendships and hoped that I would one day have something similar. My dad gave us a lifetime membership to the Marine Corps family, and after his death, his Marines stepped up for me and my mom and allowed us to witness that brotherhood firsthand. It's also worth noting that to this day, about 15 of my dad's closest Marines are still very much in our lives, best friends to my mom, and uncles to me. While brotherhood was always a part of my life, I really started to appreciate it in high school. At DeMatha, brotherhood is embedded into everyday life, and truly fostered some of my best friendships. My lacrosse teams were also filled with guys that are brothers to me, and even in college, I decided to join a fraternity that focuses on both service and brotherhood. Now, speaking of college, let's fast forward to today. I'm a junior at the University of Alabama, majoring in Management Information Systems with a minor in Computing Technologies and Applications. And I know it's a mouthful, but it's all about using the best technology to help businesses become more efficient and become more profitable. It's something that fascinates me, and with the support of the Marine Corps Scholarship Foundation, I can continue to pursue that goal. Not only has your support lifted some of the financial burden from my mom, but if all goes well, in a little over a year, I will graduate with my bachelor's degree with 0 student debt to repay. And in today's world, that's a major blessing by itself. More than likely, I will continue my education until I achieve my master's degree, but for now, I'm going to take it one step at a time. Now, we both shared pieces of our story with you tonight, but please know that that is only a small part of who we are. I am the kid whose dad was killed in Iraq. I am the kid in the picture. But I'm also the kid who was dealt a crappy hand of cards, yet still used them to my advantage. I am a junior in college who is thriving in my element. I am one of the good ones, and I am the kid who will continue to fight and succeed in his life. When I walk off the stage tonight, if you remember nothing else, please remember this. Every time you support the Marine Corps Scholarship Foundation, you support me or someone just like me. We all have goals and dreams that could change the world. We just need the opportunity. We are different, but we are not less. And in fact, we are more. More passionate, more resilient, and more determined. Thank you so much for helping our educational dreams become a reality. Thank you for believing in us, and thank you for continuing to support the sons and daughters of your Marines. And finally, thank you for this incredible opportunity to speak here tonight. Semper Fi and Roll Tide.